Darren Dreger said something interesting today that I wanted to run by you guys. And I read this tweet right before I came downstairs from my little nap to do this show. And the tweet was about the Leafs challenges over the next few years, because Darren Dreger loves to do this. How are they going to re-sign everybody? Because this is where, and Leaf fans bite every freaking time, and I'm going to bite here. Sure. Andersen and Hyman are up this year. Riley's up next year. And he said, how are you going to get those guys all under contract? And I think, as I told you before, I don't think you get Andersen under contract. And for anybody that's worried about Morgan Riley, he's still got next year as well. I don't think you get Morgan Riley under contract. I don't think he's coming back. Morgan Riley needs to go make a lot of money. I think Hyman comes back, and I think that's where you put your focus. But if you have, let's say Jack Campbell's got 59 games of NHL experience. And Jesse, you mentioned this earlier. And he can give you, let's say he can give you a 905. And I know his numbers are actually higher than that on a really bad Los Angeles Kings team. The season where he played the most games, strangely, was when LA was at its worst and he had his best results. Late bloomer, that sort of thing. If you can tandem guys, and you got two goalies making that, you got a lot more money to spend up front on players that can, bring you, because the goalies are so big now. You got players that can do what Jake Muzzin did to the Leafs defense, push shots to the outside, change the culture, do the sorts of things that you need to do. I wonder if the NHL, with certain exceptions, moves to the 1A, 1B model that they were riding for the late 80s. A lot of the late 80s teams, I believe Montreal had a double Vezina winner one year because the tandem was literally split even. And they were the best two goalies in the league. And I forget who it was. It was it was 1990 or something like that. There was a double Vezina winner. And I wonder if we start to see that again, because financially, you cannot overcommit to these guys because it's too much money.
How many games did Curtis McElhinney play in the bubble?
I don't know. How many did he play?
Let's look it up. Survey says it's not on HockeyDB. Woo! I'm pretty sure the answer is 0. Right? So even though we saw Anton Hudobin push the Stars all the way to the Stanley Cup final as the backup filling in for the starter, you still need that guy. You need that guy. I look at the Hurricanes, for example. Yeah, McElhinney didn't play a game in the playoffs. I look at the Hurricanes. I like Mrazek. Fine. I like Reimer. Fine. But I think teams need to pick one. Right? Because come playoff time, you're going to have to pick one. I just don't really think the tandem thing works in the playoffs. You might get a round or two out of it. I just don't think it works. During the regular season, it makes a ton of sense as long as come playoff time, you have to pick.
So one's 50, one's 30, basically?
Yeah, but that's not even tandem anymore. That's just there's a starter and a good backup.
Okay, fair enough. By the way,
I think what you're saying is there should just be a good backup, and I agree.
Well, yeah, and you've got to leave yourself the room for it. And I don't think Freddie Andersen is going to – I think Freddie Andersen's going to want a lot of money, and somebody's going to pay him that. If you're Freddie Andersen, are you not asking for a Jake Markstrom contract?
You're asking for it. It depends how he does this season, because Markstrom, the season he was coming off of, I thought he would have got more. Markstrom wasn't even the highest paid goalie. That was Matt Murray. Wild. I'm not sure if that's because, man. Markstrom got the 6 per, and Murray got the 6 1/4 for fewer years.
I thought he had 5 1/4 for some reason. That's
6 1/4 for Matt Murray, who's doing not good.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Holy smokes.
Man.
By the way, I think I was wrong about the double Vezina winner. I think it might have been double something else. My bad on that one.
Oh, the Jennings?
I thought it was, but
maybe.
Yeah, maybe it was the Jennings.
Because I'm looking at Markstrom's deal, and I'm looking at Murray's deal. Freddie makes 5 right now. I don't think he's going to get a ton more than that.
I think someone pays him.
Maybe, but he doesn't have the 2 cups under his belt like Murray. He doesn't have the last season under his belt like Markstrom did, and we're still in a panoramic. So I don't see how he gets more than 6 with less term than Markstrom. unless someone's real desperate and willing to give them the money. Also, I mean, the way this season shakes out plays a massive role in that, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, like he needs to be better. They need to have playoff success. If they suck in the playoffs again, no one's going to commit that kind of money to him.
Right. If Freddie wins a round, he gets $7 million. You know,
I hate that that's the standard. No, get out of Canada at least. You got to get out of the Canadian division.
It's not going to be the Leafs.
No,
not going to be the Leafs.
I don't think so. No.
I bet.
And I, don't be surprised. Freddie had a good run here, but don't be surprised when he's not here next year. Just don't.
Yep.
I've been expecting this for 3 years. There's no way it makes sense. By the way, Binnington is up this year, and I wanted to bring him up. By the way, Jesse, to answer your question about Carey Price, when do we start saying maybe he's not the goalie he was?
Yeah.
I think right now is a good time, and I think last season might have been a good time. And I think the reason that it hasn't happened yet is because people are kind of lazy in terms of actually looking at it. And I think when you did talk about, when you did talk about Carey Price in a negative way for a long time, you got an earful from Habs fans. Believe me, I did it. But those echoes they're less and less and less because it's starting to sink in that he's not the goalie that he was. And he started to not be the goalie that he was right around the time he signed that extension.
And that's hard, Miles. But the Habs are also, it could be just that they're in perfect storm territory, right? Their special teams are poor. Mm-hmm. Their 5-on-5 numbers are still good, but their special teams are poor. Their save percentage is down and their shooting percentage is down. Like they are PDO crashing all at once. And I just have a hard time believing a team that's as good at 5-on-5 as they are is actually this bad. Like, I don't know if they're the juggernaut that was advertised. Poor CJ. God, he just keeps eating shit for that tweet. Poor guy. But they even brought it up on 31 Thoughts. Friedman's like, oh, R.I.P. CJ. Feel bad for him.
What's the tweet?
He basically went, I think we can officially say it. The Habs are a juggernaut.
Oh, God.
And then it was like a week later they weren't. But like, man, been there, man. But for some reason, everyone made that the flagship bad Habs tweet for this year for some reason.
Yeah, we've all had freezing cold takes.
Like, of course. God. I don't think they end up being this bad. They're definitely somewhere in the middle. I'm going to go they're closer to being good than bad. They're going to make the playoffs, guys.
Yeah.
The Habs?
Yeah, unless the Flames
are going to make the playoffs. Yeah. They're going to make
if they keep doing this, if they do this for 2 or 3 more weeks and the Flames actually, put it together.
Well, that's the problem. The Flames and Habs right now are doing what the Leafs and Panthers did toward the end of last season. They're going after you. Neither of us want this. Like